Okay, once again, welcome to the Unshakable Foundation meeting of Cocaine Anonymous. This is a main share meeting, and today it's with a lot of gratitude that we welcome Nikki M all the way from Toronto. He's come to share around 40 minutes around the topic of conscious contact. So thank you so much, Nikki. And with that, it's over to you, sister.
Thank you, my brother, and thank you, everyone. I'm Nikki M, and I'm a grateful member of this fellowship and many others. Timothy, thank you for reading Who is a CA Member. That reading is so important. That means everyone on the planet qualifies. Our big book of Alcoholics Anonymous that this meeting comes with, Tradition 3, says that anyone and everyone is welcome suffering the disease of alcoholism. So I'd like to start off saying that because a lot of people will say, why you don't qualify for CA or you don't qualify for this room or that room. And I always want everyone to be armed with the facts. Young, I think it's your birthday, your rebirthday, and some other people are celebrating and picking up chips. And you said at the beginning, we're going to take a moment of silence for those who are not going to make it in this room. And if they're in, they may wander out and not make it back. So it's just real important that we remember that our membership ought to include all who suffer from the family disease of alcoholism. And I have a friend here and he has a sister here and we recover together. I'm just so grateful. So today's Christmas Eve in my country. I hurried home. I was doing service work. I'm a full-time volunteer, servant of God. Why do I qualify to be here? Well, according to my big book, it says once I start, I can't stop and I can't control the amount of certain things I take. And I'm suffering an illness which only a spiritual solution will conquer. And I need the solution every day. And when Young asked me to speak today, I was overjoyed because I was supposed to be in Luxembourg today. And the book says there's certain trials and low spots ahead. And I'm in Toronto. And so doing service is really important if you're like me. In our book on page 70, it says if sex, love, relationships, anything, your cocaine is troublesome, your benzos, your neighbors, it says we throw ourselves into helping other people. So I was grateful. I left a little early and I cut a zillion potatoes. So I'm grateful to be out of there and here with you. And when Young said, what are you going to talk about? I thought conscious contact, because the reason I'm not in Luxembourg is because I wasn't having conscious contact in all areas of my life. See, our big book says that we practice these principles in all our affairs, first being your home. Are you practicing these principles in your home? Because I kind of forgot to do that with a certain person, and I forgot to do it in my home. I'm really good at doing it in my occupation. I'm really good at doing it in all my affairs with you people. But I have some trouble. And that's sober for a lot of us, isn't it? I've been here a while, over a decade in these rooms, and I'm grateful. And someone in this fellowship, Cocaine Anonymous, made the approach. And I'm a female, he's a male, took me through the book. And I have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. So I want to talk about this conscious contact because I'm sure we have some new friends and we have some repeat offenders on here, me being one of them. Remember, it's a daily reprieve. And so when Young asked me, it's like conscious contact. That's what we're here to do. Page 29 says, and I just want to read it directly from our Bible for Survival. And I hope this is recording okay because my earphones and my cell phone, that's all God's timing and God's world, and it's not working properly. So I can hope you can hear me. And if you can't, just give me a thumbs up, somebody. But it says, we're here. And I'm here right now today in my individual personal story, my experience, strength, and hope in my own language. And I speak big book. I speak English too, but we're here united with one book, the big book. And from my own point of view, the way I established a relationship with God. If you have a problem with the word God, it's just a term. I'm going to suggest that you get a sponsor. I'm going to suggest that you work the steps. And I'm going to suggest that you do some exercises and instructions in these books that help you sweep away your prejudice towards these terms. We're going to talk about conscious contact because that's how I have a relationship. Okay. What does it mean to be conscious? It means to be aware. And you cannot be aware if you're blotting out the consciousness of your existence with cocaine, with anger, with food. I just left my friend today. I saw him at the Salvation Army and I said, you haven't been here for a while. And he says, I'm suffering with diabetes. And I said, yeah, you gained 100 pounds since I last saw you. I said, you're in your addiction. He goes, no, I'm free of alcohol and I'm free of cocaine, Nikki. And I said, you gained 100 pounds and I love you enough to tell you, you're not free. This is real. He's not conscious. I wasn't conscious when I was speaking to the man I love. I was conscious speaking to you on my Monday morning meeting every Monday, but I wasn't conscious speaking to my son, the tone, gentleness, God's energy, frequency, vibration, conscious, awake, having knowledge. I have to be conscious. How do I get the knowledge? Getting a big book, getting a sponsor, staying in the middle of this lifestyle, in the middle of my chosen family, you. I get knowledge because I have a book, a big book, not the 12 and 12, not some other book from NA. I have the original undiluted version straight from Bill's hand, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I like the 4th edition. And it gives me knowledge. I get armed with the facts. Page 90. I also do this. Are you doing this to be in constant conscious contact? This is not easy. See, you don't get a day off. Someone asked me the other day, Nikki, do you get a day off? Page 85 says every day. I don't get a day off. I have to be conscious. How do you be conscious? Well, my fingers can thumb through my book quick enough. It says, I'm to get an idea not only of your behavior, but my behavior. I'm supposed to get an idea of my problems, your background, my background, the seriousness of my condition, the seriousness of your condition. That's inside and outside of the rooms. The book says we practice these principles in all our affairs. Oh, Nikki, that's just for sponsoring. No, this is the life instruction book. It says it's a design for living that works. And I see a lot of people on here who it works for. See, it says I need this information because I need to be what? Conscious. I need to have knowledge. When I Googled the word conscious, because I come prepared to a meeting, because that's what we do here. We're here to wake each other up. I can't just come here. You want to hear a drunkalog? You want to hear a sexalog? You guys know what it's like. You guys have done everything I've done and more, right? We're here to look for the similarities, and the similarities are about a relationship with God, the creator of the universe. So when I Googled the word, it said, painfully aware. Are you painfully aware of the way you speak to people, Nikki? No, actually, I wasn't. Are you painfully aware of what you say, do, speak, walk, talk? 24/7. You don't get a day off. See, this book, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself properly. Hi, I'm Nikki M. I'm an intelligent agent spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation. Intelligent. So I need to be painfully aware. This is not easy. And the book says it. It says, I'm to be awakened. How do you get awakened, says our new friend? By working the 12 steps all day, every day. Did you make your step 3 decision to be not only a member of this program, but to take a sincere position to abandon yourself to this lifestyle? This is your course, Nikki. Yes, I go to the Salvation Army, but this is my base right here. This big book. This consciousness with a God of my understanding. Did you pick a God of your understanding? You know what else it says for being conscious? It says alive, because I was the walking dead, blotting out my consciousness, like my friend today I saw when he said, but I'm sober, Nikki. Are you? I just looked at him and he said, we can hang in the new year. And I said, Rick, I really can't. I had to be honest. And I said, I cannot do that with you because I have to be around people who are conscious. I have to be around other people. Iron sharpens iron. Steel on steel. I need you guys to sharpen me, wake me up, higher consciousness every day, all day. Oh, because when I wasn't conscious, last time I was in Luxembourg and I called one of you people, you didn't open a big book with me. Not anybody's fault. I mean, it's not anyone's. That's God's design. Nothing happens in God's world by mistake. But we didn't get into the big book, that's for sure. And I wasn't conscious. And obviously this person wasn't either. Sensible. Are you sensible? Because it says that's what being conscious is. It's not hysterical. It's certainly not angry, because our book says we are never to. This is a principle-based program, everybody. This is a principle-based program. If you think just putting down your cocaine, you just think putting down your mistress, you just think putting down that job is enough, I love you enough to tell you it's not. It says we turn all things over. And I need you guys, when I call you, when I need something, I need you to have a big book between us and please tell me what the book says. I need that. I can't have I don't know. I can't have that. So recently I have to be around people who are conscious and in contact. Okay. I'm still in consciousness. Let me see where it is. Oh, okay. So it's aware, having knowledge, painfully awake. Think about that. Painfully awake. We're being reborn here. I did a talk recently on we were reborn. The birthing process isn't easy. Destruction of self is not easy every day. So yeah, I go radical here because, hey, a lot of my friends are dropping dead. And if I didn't have this program, if I didn't have you guys, I might be there today because I'm supposed to be in Luxembourg, not in Toronto. And I'm laughing about it and I'm smiling about it. And to be honest, it's helping other people. It's helping me. It's helping others. I can't even tell you how dark it is before the dawn. How dark it is before the dawn. And if you think that's your first day in program, no, that's could be in year 12. For one of my friends, it was in year 25. He was super sober. He was sleeping with every newcomer. This is serious stuff. Let's go to contact. What does it mean to have contact? A state, a condition of what? Physically touching? Physically touching what? This power? I can't see this power. How about communicating with this power? Contact. Are you communicating? Because this is in my mind. If you've read your book, and if you're new, everybody, it's not in your pill. It's not in her pants. It's not in the fridge for my friend. It's in my mind. This conscious contact upon awakening. Midday focus. Never a day off. Conscious contact. Communicating with this power all damn day. And it gets easier, everybody. And then you become grateful for the certain trials and low spots because I forget. I just skip along. I know my book. I got the fellowship I crave. All the miracles are coming true. And then I'm just walking and talking, not in conscious contact in all my affairs. How are you talking to the people you love most? Go deep on this with me. How are you speaking to the people? We can all go and be nice to the grocery store clerk. Are you in conscious contact when you're angry? Wow. Anyway, Page 85 of our big book says, to some extent, we have become God conscious. Doesn't talk about, you have to be sober to be God conscious. You cannot be blotting out your existence, and we're beyond human aid. So no rehab's going to help you. And as far as I know, no doctor's going to help me have conscious contact. I'm beyond human aid. A spiritual mode of living is the most powerful health restorative. But Nikki, I got to get my ducks in a row. But Nikki, I got to lose 100 pounds. But Nikki, I got to get my sons out, guns out. No, this is a spiritual program. This is deep down inside of you. There's no human aid that's going to give you conscious contact. There's no pill that's going to give you conscious contact. I know my friend Young, you went traveling recently and you sent me a picture, and that picture showed me the conscious contact. Like, it's what it is, a sunset. It's a feeling. And how do I even describe it on here? All I know is it's not human. It's not something tangible, this contact. This is in your mind. When I was told I'm not going to Luxembourg, I says conscious companionship with his creator. I had to sit in constant companionship. What does that look like, Nikki? That looks like I had to be totally responsible to be in companionship and conscious. I had to be absolutely accepting of everything in this moment. Because that's the only place I'm going to find God. I can't drift. I cannot drift. That says we must not drift, or we don't have conscious contact. How do you stay in conscious contact? Page 59, may you find God now. I'm sorry, I'm right in the camera, but I don't have my earphones on today, so I don't know how the volume is, and I know it's recording. Got my big face in the camera. Conscious contact with God as we understood it. Nikki, how do I understand God? You do a 4-step. You do a 5th step. You don't leave the rooms. You seek God. I mean, step 11 says it all. I mean, this is it. Seeking God. That's what we're here to do. Are you seeking being responsible? Are you seeking getting humble, Nikki? Because the big book says you don't get cocky, and you got real cocky in your home. I won't do it in my job. I've learned that a long time ago. Don't do it in your job. I don't even have a job really, but volunteer, whatever you're doing. Don't do it in your affairs, Nikki, because remember, it's attraction, not promotion. So I want to get a sponsee. I need you guys way more than you need me. You play a vital part in my recovery, so I can't get too cocky. But at home, yeah. Conscious contact. As I understood this power, I understand this power to be love. Am I being conscious and looking for the God in you? Are you looking for the God in me every day? Are you looking deep down inside of me? My sponsor told me, Nikki, you judge. That's what he told me the other day we went for dinner. He said, you judge. And he says, you force your opinions on everybody. What? That's right, I do. I like to hear it. I like to be armed with the fact I can't see it. 2 to see 1, I can't see it. Told me the truth about myself, and I go, yeah, that's right. Tradition 10 says, I'm not to have an opinion on an outside matter, outside of me, but I want to tell you my opinion. I want to tell you what I think you should. I mean, it goes weird for me, twisted. Practice these principles in all your affairs. So how do I have conscious contact with God? I'm seeking this power every day. Instantly, I got 2 sponsees when my ticket to Luxembourg was null and void anymore. That's what it says. Throw yourself harder into helping other people. I have to have conscious contact. How do I do that? Well, we talked about it. The state or condition of physically touching or communicating or a meeting. And meeting makers don't make it. If you're here as long as I am, meeting, it's going to help. One meeting a week is what my book says. If you're new, you may need one every day. I did. I needed a replacement, the fellowship. So stay. What's this conscious contact look like with the God that you understand? Remember, everybody, you come in here and no one's looking for God. We're looking for power. So what does this power look like? You know, you need a sponsor to help you do this. And it doesn't say sponsor in the book, but it says fellow. Someone armed with the facts. Hey, new friends and old friends, are you making the approach, old friends, to our new friends? Or are you just coming to a meeting and not having conscious contact with anybody? Like, this is serious stuff. I see that a lot too. People in the rooms every day, every week. Another guy said to me the other day, I was talking to him and I couldn't believe what came out of his mouth. No conscious contact. I had to tell him, why are you saying that to me? Like, are you awake? Are you awake? He didn't take offense to it because people know me. I got radically honest. That's not kind to say to somebody with what I just told you. Like, he's not awake. Are you conscious? Are you awake with your words, with your deeds, with your actions in all areas of your life? This is not easy. Simple. You're going to make mistakes, everybody. I just did. Cost me a plane ticket to Luxembourg. I just did. And guess what? It said it's part of my education. Oh, hi, new friends. Welcome to Earth School. Welcome to Earth School. Me and my friends here, we've entered a spirit world. We have to have constant, conscious contact with this power. How about the promise when you are conscious of this power? Isn't it awesome? It's so awesome. It's like nothing's missing. It's like nothing's changed. I mean, I'm in my bedroom right now on this meeting. 3 weeks ago, when I got the news that I'm not going to be where I want to be on Christmas, guess what? I was in this room. Nothing in the room has changed. My mind has changed. My conscious contact has changed. My mind, my centers in my mind, my thought life has been placed on a higher plane. Wow. Thank you, God. This happened. I wasn't conscious. I needed this to happen. How dark it is before the dawn. Are you cheerfully capitalizing on trouble? That's what my book says to do. It doesn't say light the house on fire, Nikki, and burn everything into the ground. It certainly doesn't say jump in front of a subway. It says cheerfully capitalize on it. Because you're going to be here long enough where picking up cocaine, that's been removed. Picking up alcohol, picking up even another man, a woman, a new job, all of that will be removed. And you're going to have to deal with self. Because this is the disease of self. I need more me, more me. What about me? What about me? And it's so cunning, baffling, and all powerful. It just sneaks in because the promises are true. You do get perfect peace and ease alone. You recoil from everything like a hot flame. But what happens if you take a day off? What happens when trouble comes? You're not spiritually fit. It says we have to be spiritually fit. How do you stay spiritually fit? Working the 12 steps all day, every day, all 12 steps. Oh, Nikki, I made my step 3 decision. Great. You have to do it every day till you die. You have to be armed with the facts. You have to work every step, every day. In order to make a step 3 decision, you have to make a step 1. I can't do life. You have to believe, come to believe, 100% convinced without a doubt that this power can restore you to conscious contact. See, I'm just doing the book again in year 12 with a podcast that I do with some people that I love to death that are in this fellowship. And I'm realizing that, like, what have I been doing the past 12 years? Anybody been here a long time? You're like, wait, what have I been doing? This is radical. Conscious contact, watching, thought life. No more self. Purpose. Serving. I mean, this goes real deep, doesn't it? So are you, in order to get this conscious contact every day, are you watching your thoughts? And not reporting to your sponsor after they've happened. Are you watching as they come up, as they, like, this is so be. Demonstrate what God would have you be, not do. There we go. That's where I want to go to. This conscious contact. Because I'm also a member of Al-Anon. Okay, let's go deep. I'm a member of Al-Anon. I like to run around, get busy, manage, manipulate, mother, martyr, murder. And then what happens? I blow up everyone's life and go, oh, look what you did to me. Look what you did. So this conscious contact with God that I have to have is about being. That's what I did when I got the news a few weeks ago that I wasn't taking a trip. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even drink a glass of water. I was like, wait, what? And so I just be. And so what would God have me be, not do? God had me get real quiet. God had me in solitude, not isolation. Are you guys ever in solitude? Not just running around, going to a meeting, serving here, because that's what I realized I was doing. I'm like so busy. I'm not just sitting. I'm busy blotting out the consciousness of my existence with service. Anybody ever do that too? Oh, that can get weird too. This is this balance of conscious contact. So I have to be. I've taken a lot more time on step 11 upon awakening. And see, the promises are real. So I don't have to get up at 8 a.m. and go to a job when it's minus 16 degrees out. I work 10 hours a week. So I'm a full-time sponsor. So I don't have to get up and do anything but be. Because see, I came in here programmed. If you're like me, you maybe came in here programmed. You were given a name. Me, I was given 2 numbers. I'm from America and Canada, so I've got two of those social security numbers. I was given a religion. I was given a family. I was totally programmed. And it says in here, we urge you to try our program. I like to describe it like this. To some of you young kids, you may have never seen, like when computers first came out, they had like Apple had these fancy colored desktop computers. And if I called a computer guy over here and said, can you fix this? He would say, you're nuts. They don't make them, throw them out. That program, that computer doesn't exist. That's what we're asking you to do here. We're asking you to come in here and throw out your entire program, blank space. Sweep away your prejudice, everything you've ever known. And then we're asking you to think real honestly. Like we're asking you to, intelligent spearheads, I need you to think honestly. And then it says to search diligently within yourself. And I've been searching diligently in service. I always tend to lean. This happened to me a few years ago, maybe 7 years ago. I leaned real heavy on step 1 and step 12. And I didn't do, I was barely making my step 3 decision daily. There was no seeking God. So I have been seeking God. So I'm managing, but I mean, think about this. Search diligently within. God would have me be. This is spiritual kindergarten. Our friend Bill W. talked about it. That's the other thing I'm realizing. Like, when Young said, let's take a minute for the suffering addict. Many aren't going to make it in. And you guys know some of my story if you don't. After I get off here, I'm going to take Mom to 95-year-old auntie's. That's her aunt. It's my great aunt. And we're going to have dinner for Christmas Eve. And my mom doesn't have a husband because he took a pistol and he blew his head off right in front of her while she was making breakfast. So I don't mess with the disease of alcoholism because my mom lives in my home forever. And I'm grateful. Otherwise, I would have sold it and I would have been living in Luxembourg. God's plan is always better than mine. Always better. So many won't make it here. This is spearhead shit. This is soul-seeking stuff. This is spirit world. Putting down your cocaine and your toys and your things and all that. That's just the beginning. Our book says we better meet God alone. So why? So we can have constant, conscious contact. You know, I love this big book because it just talks about our creator. Have you guys thought about all these things? These are things that we could sit for hours, not just complaining. Are you going into a meeting and just complaining and sharing your problems? Or are you taking the minute to share your problem and then sit the rest of the time about the solution and how we get to the solution? We make the approach. The big book says that's exactly what this book is about. It's designed to get you to this power, to this conscious contact every day, all day. See, we're in the grip of a progressive illness. And I watch a lot of my friends in Cocaine Anonymous. They die sober. They die with nothing. None of the promises are coming true. That's painful to watch. Especially when the promises are happening for me and some of my friends on here. It's like, you can have this too. It's not just it's for everybody here. There is so much power. We just have to tap it. Anything you think can happen, good or bad. This is in our mind. What are you thinking about? And it's so radical. I mean, I think something and it shows up. Like my hot tub strainer. I got a hot tub, my mommy bought me. And if you guys, hey, Young, I told you, bring your family, come to Toronto where you'll see Cameron's across the street. And also we're an hour and a half from Niagara Falls. Everyone comes and stays with me. I don't care. Bill, I've asked you to come from Ohio. Get here. Because there's just like, I just thought this hot tub, it's there. And it's just something so small. But then it was like I needed a strainer. My neighbors were doing a renovation. And it was filled with stuff. I'm riding literally on one of the craziest streets in downtown Toronto. And there's a pool strainer. It's like, I'm thinking something the other day and someone calls me and I get the perfect sponsee because I needed somebody. I'm like, okay, I'll go to a meeting. I'll find someone. My phone rings. Nikki, can you sponsor me? Yes. Wasn't even, I'm like, this is my lucky day because I need you way more than you need me. This person had heard my podcast. I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for the darkness because it brings me to the light. I'm grateful for this conscious contact daily or I won't make it. I'm grateful when you guys tell me the truth about myself. It says, rarely have we seen a person fail who is thoroughly honest. Should say honest with each other. How are you? I'm fine. I can just see it. No, you're not fine. What's going on? Are you having conscious contact with people? Are you looking at people in the eye? Have you ever eye gazed? Nikki, this is a 12-step meeting. Yeah, it is. We're seeking God. And God's inside of you. And God's inside of me. Deep down inside, every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. But it gets obscured. It gets blocked. It gets blocked by my pride, my pomp. I know better. I know everything. It gets blocked by my worship of sex and checks, men and money, finance and romance. When I was 18, it was crystal meth. Not anymore. I'm 51. It gets blocked by what? By the calamity of the world. How could this happen? How could my friend's daughter be raped, murdered, and cut up and found in bags? How could there be a God? Well, Nikki, you got free will. You have free will. Thank you, God, that you have free will. Sweep away everything you've ever known. This idea of God is so old. You're not the first generation to think about God and talk about God. Like, go deep here. This is child's play where we are right now. This is a lifetime journey. I'm just like, what is going on with my life? Because I have to be in this high vibration every day. This anger brought me down. I had a resentment. I couldn't even see it. Couldn't even see it. Cunning, baffling, all powerful. Without help, it's too much. I was drinking poison and I didn't even know. Resentment with my neighbors. The renovation. I went to the properly appointed authority. I'm still sitting in pause land 6 months later, and miracles are happening. Miracles. But in the process, now I can look back, isn't it? Hindsight 2020. And that's why the book says my past is my greatest asset. So when I got a call the other day and a woman said, Nikki, blah, blah, blah. And I said, whatever you do, pause. Don't do what I do and buy a ticket in a blackout rage and go to your country. And then now you're not invited back. Pause. Pause land. You can stay there for 6 months, 6 years, and seek God. This is better to meet God alone than with those that don't understand. Perfect peace and ease alone. And I love this too. Let's read this one out because this is a big promise. We've got a couple minutes, final countdown. So I'll just hit it home for our new friends. And I would like to hear, I know everyone's going to do feedback, but how are you getting conscious contact daily? Remember, awake, painfully aware, constant communication with this power. This isn't easy, but page 87. Oh, we have a good time doing it, everybody. New friends, don't worry. You're going to have a good time. There's going to be ups and downs, high spots, low spots, and we're all going to be here to witness your miracle. It says right here, what used to be the hunch or occasional inspiration, see, it gradually becomes a working part of my mind. It gradually becomes a working part of my mind. My old programming is gone. My new programming is this. And that can be hard too, you guys, because I feel more comfortable with you guys in the spirit world than I do with other people in the third dimension. It gets real painful because I'm in this world with you guys. I'm in the spirit world. It's part of my mind. It's part of my makeup, but I'm still an experience. And I just made conscious contact with this power I love to call God. And so it's not probable, Nikki, that you're going to be inspired at all times. You're not a saint. Don't go too hard on yourself. You make mistakes. It says it's part of your education. But if you and your fellowship and your sponsor are sincere, you're going to learn and grow. And it says, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, not an overnight matter. It must continue for a lifetime. As time passes, is more and more on a plane of inspiration. Are you inspired to have conscious contact? Are you waking up daily saying, I can't do this life. I need this power. I believe the power of love will restore the entire world to sanity. I want to be a member of this program. I want to commence shoulder to shoulder with you people. I want to abandon my life to this way of thinking. I want to be in a spirit world. I'm looking at my moral inventory every day. Nikki, you are loved, but you're blocked by your anger. You're blocked by your selfishness, by your self-pity. So go and tell somebody who understands, not who looks at you like you're a freak. Someone who goes, oh, you're like that too, Nikki? I am. Let's get to God. And then step 6, be willing every day to stop doing the things you want to do. Every day, Nikki, get humble and start doing those things you don't want to do, like just sitting and being. That's hard for a lunatic like me. I'm busy. Al-Anon. Then what else? And then I have a list. I've harmed the entire world, everybody. I'm a praying mantis with men and women. If you get too close to me, I'll do weird things to you too when I'm not with God. Okay. I've harmed the whole world. And then I've made this list and it says my behavior will convince them more than my words. Conscious contact in my mind. Nikki, STFU, be quiet and just be. Okay. And then every day you're going to continue to do steps 1 through 9. And then you're going to seek God on Christmas Eve with your friends. who give you purpose. And then you're going to carry this message. And you're going to do the best to practice these principles in all your affairs. And you have a loving God and a powerful God who will restore everything to its glory. I'm grateful to be here. I didn't know I needed to be here as much as I did, Young. Thank you for having me. And I love you, family. I love you. Please, conscious contact all day, every day. Love you.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you, sister. Always good to hear you, Nikki. Thank you so much for bringing the spirit with you this evening or today, wherever you are in the world. So we're going to open up for Q&A now. So please, let's see some hands. Let's get some questions on the go. And first up, we've got Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia. I've asked you to unmute. Please come on in.
Hello. Thank you so much, Young. Thank you, Nikki. What a fantastic lead. I'm so glad it was recorded, and I'm so glad my brother encouraged me. He's like, you got to get onto Nikki's. He goes, I just love her. I'm like, all right, you always give me good advice in the program for sure. Yeah, I mean, I just bless what you're doing. What an inspiration you are to me and to so many. And I pray you also have opportunity to be a conference speaker. Your message needs to get out there. Love you, sister. Love you all. Merry Christmas Eve. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Good to have you with us today. So while we're waiting for some hands to go up, and please let's see some, we've got a couple of questions in the chat. The first one, Nikki, have you found it easier to be over time? And do you have any specific practice or practices for this?
Okay, that's a great question. Yes, over time, it gets easier. You know how I describe it to, thank you, person who's part of and asking the question. When I take someone through sponsoring, on page 163 says, I'm jittery. I can't do this. And then we go, but you can. And it's like your first day. Do you guys remember your first day? I don't know what you do. Like if you're a hairdresser, your first haircut was not good. I'm a retired burlesque entertainer. My first day on that pole, I was awful. Okay. You get better with time. Your first day waitressing, your first day engineers, you're like, oh my God, if I build that bridge wrong, someone's going to die. But you get better with it at time. So over time, and that's why the book clearly says, this is not an overnight matter. It should, I think I changed it in my big book to say it must continue for your lifetime. Because remember, we're in the grip of a progressive illness. So I intuitively knew what to do when I got this certain trial and low spot. I knew to be. And that came from staying in this room. That came from listening to you guys. So it does get easier, number one, because practice. Remember, the key word in step 12 says we practice. We practice. I mean, think about it. I know, Young, you love music. I know that. And it's like, you got to practice to be a musician. These guys don't just get up there and start singing. The practicing this is a practice. It's like yoga is a practice. It's like 12 steps is a practice. This is a lifestyle. This is a practice for us. We have found a design for living because we couldn't find it anywhere else. So stay. It will get easier. And think about it. And what was my practice now? It's to take time in the morning, literally following those and taking time. Get your favorite. I've got clove tea right here. Kills parasites. Get your coffee and just chill out. And how about this? The biggest practice, and this is the one I forgot, the obsession of gratitude. See, my sponsor, of course, it centers in your mind. He goes, Nikki, you have an obsessive mind. You need to obsess about something. The greatest practice that I have is the obsession of gratitude. And I don't mean just like a gratitude list. I mean gratitude in action and literally obsessing about gratitude. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up, Bill. Come on in, Bill.
Sure, mate. Thank you, Nikki, for the fine message. So you talked about the way you talk to others contingent upon your conscious content. And there was a caption in one of the books that I read that says, look who's talking. And so right away, I assumed they were going to say, like, you got room to talk, but they were talking about the voice that exists inside my own head that talks to me, and not always the one that tempts me to get high. But in your conscious contact, how does Nikki talk to Nikki? Does she say things that God would say, or does she say things what self would say? Big difference. Love you.
Can I share back on that? Because that is the most important. On when I did my inventory, it was like false pride, self-loathing. And I love what you just said, Bill. That's another thing, is your self-talk. How are you talking? So, Bill, it's funny you say that. I tell myself I'm an intelligent agent spearhead. Nothing can touch me. When I look at the mirror, I'm like, I love you. I've actually, too, Bill, started talking over my water. Not this one. I didn't do it today, but talk over your water. I love you, water. And because all my cells in my body make me up, and they need to be exactly self-talk, everybody. Thank you for that reminder. Tell yourself that we have a loving, powerful God. Even today, I said, my Father will give me everything I want. It's what the book says. Thanks, Bill.
Lovely. Thanks for your question, Bill. Next up, Tim, come on in.
Thanks, Young, for taking the meeting. Nikki, thank you so much. I've never actually spoke on this meeting before, but you were just that outstanding. I had to come in. My conscious contact, I have a prayer I say in the morning, along with many, many prayers, the step 3 prayer, the Merton prayer. I invite God in from the north to guide my thoughts. I invite him in from the south to guide my feelings. I invite him in from the west to guide my words, and I invite him in from the east to guide my actions. And I'm not sure where that comes from. It's probably some ancient English prayer, but it works for me, because those things I'm asking him to guide, that's where the harms to others begins. And I've been doing that for a while now, and like you said, what used to be the hunch or the occasional inspiration has become a working part of my mind. There's a guy who lives across the hall from me. I grumbled about him for months and months at my home group, or that new guy that's moved in. I don't know if he has a problem with personal hygiene, but every time I walk past his door, I can smell it. It's really bad. And I grumbled and I whinged, and I was told to pray on it. And he knocked on my door a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know he was epileptic. I didn't know he had learning difficulties. He does. He asked me to help him, and instantly, without any intervention on my part, the thought came, help this man. So I did. I went into his dirty, smelly, stinky flat, and I spent 2 hours on the phone trying to get his benefits restored. And in the end, I did. And that was God's will for me that day. And as long as I remain open, that's all that matters. Thank you so much, Nikki.
I love you, Timothy. And I just want to say thank you for that reminder that our behavior patterns vary. So what works for Timothy may not work for me. So thank you for that reminder. And thank you for reminding me that, like, there's so many prayers other than the ones in our book. I want you to send me that one, Timothy. Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks, Tim. Good to hear you, my friend. Next up, Rashid, would you like to come in with your question, please?
Thank you very much. Do you hear me?
We can. Come on in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Nikki. I'm so grateful to you for this fantastic speech. My question is just how to get out of my mind, because I think so much about my emotion, feeling, work, money, and everything. I'm so self-centered. How to deal with this? And is there any routine to do or some steps to get out of my selfishness? And thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. And thank you for your honesty. So here it is. And it's all in the big book. And I recently asked some friends, like, reconcile these instructions through your big book. So what can you do to get out of self? You just said you're obsessing about money. You're obsessing about using. You're obsessing about her, him, whatever it may be. Obsessing about self. Here it is. We talked about it. You have to throw yourself harder into helping other people, because when you help others, Timothy just said it. When he got into somebody else for that day, he's out of him. He's out of we're out of the gossip. We're out of the judgment. We're helping others. So number one, you need to get obsessed with helping others. Wanting nothing in return is the caveat. Number two, you need to get obsessed about, again, page 119, pause and obsess about your blessings. It says count your blessings, but you, like me, my friend, have an obsessive mind. So obsess about your blessings. And then the other two obsessions is love and tolerance. It says it's our code. So get obsessed with loving people and loving yourself, as Bill said, self-talk. Get obsessed with doing kind things for yourself and for others, wanting nothing in return, and being tolerant. And a lot of the time, tolerant is looking for God in other people and in yourself. I hope that helps. So much to be grateful for, my friend. You're muted, my brother.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. We've got a question in the chat. What actions to develop conscious contact do you give to newcomers?
Okay, for newcomers, the instructions, number one is definitely, because they're learning the steps, right? And hopefully sponsors, you're getting them through very quickly, so they won't be new friends for very long. They will learn to take these steps and they'll be sponsors. So if you have somebody on the steps for a while, anyway, that's another subject, but here we go. What do I suggest to newcomers? Service. Go and be the coffee lady. Go and be the greeter. Go and get a senior like me, my 95-year-old auntie, to volunteer once a week. Okay. Go get a job like I did at the Salvation Army. When I lost my job in COVID, every Saturday, I'm in the kitchen. You see, do service. That's the only way for a newcomer to get out of self, is from my experience. Because they're going to do the steps, then they're going to sponsor. So they're going to constantly be in service by doing that. So do that. It's and here's number one for my new friends. Ready? This is a real hard instruction. Make your damn bed.
Lovely. Thanks, Nikki. Next up, Sonia. Hey, Sonia, come on in.
Hi, Nikki, my spearhead lady. I don't think I ever would have that conscious connection. I had a big time this morning. I've been struggling for a few weeks about my son being sick in a different state. I'm not there for mom. I'm not there. It's all about me. I have to do control. I have to do it. I need to save him. I need to feel better. And I can't. What kind of terrible mother have been my whole life? And then I'm learning that after 2 years not having any connection with him because he wanted nothing to do with me anymore, all of a sudden he's connecting with me. I can tell him how I meant it, that I love him, not what to do, not give him instructions. I just tell him, I wish I could hold you in my arm and make you feel better just because I love you. I'm not telling you what medicine to take anymore like I was to. I didn't tell the doctors anymore what to do like I've been doing. And I was miserable and I was in pain. I was willing to let go and I was praying, do my service, doing the sponsors just to get out of myself. And this morning I went to a prayer meeting. First on the miracle. There was nobody there leading the meeting. I have no idea about leading any kind of meeting, especially not this one. I had the script. For some reason, a while back, I collected the scripts when I'm searching. I started the meeting till finally the sponsor showed up after I did the instruction and everything. And so now I'm in the meeting and I'm stressing out. I cannot control it. I cannot hear him, blah, blah, blah. And something happened to me, which I was not aware of. I lost a baby girl in 89. And when I wrote today, I don't know where she came up. But when I wrote this morning, my higher power says in my pen, your lovely little daughter who went beyond you, before you, is smiling at you for Christmas. And she's proud of her mom. Talking about a connection nobody can explain. I'm not a sharer. You know, I've been around. I don't go in meeting. I don't share. But right now he's kicking my buns and says, you better open your mouth. You better say something. And I just could do it because of the program, because of people like you, because of rooms like you, and because you tell me how to do it and what to do. And it's simple, but for me, hopefully it gets better. I take your word for it, Nikki, but right now it's not easy. It's very, very hard, emotional, but in the same term, good. So thank you for being here for me, and I'm out. Merry Christmas, you all.
Thank you, Sonia. Merry Christmas.